usage. And there you go. Monkey picked up by Futbolist. Not too much of a biggie, really. Cataclysm would have been really nice. I would have really enjoyed it. But here, the Cyclone into the Shockwave of the Orianna, it pairs off really well. And
yeah, it all relies on this Kai'Sa not being allowed to make it to that late game stage, and as well take advantage of, you say, the Orianna before she gets her Leandries, before she builds up with Rabadon's Death Cap, before and she even gets the Zhonya's, which will be able to be used to counter that Malphite, that Braum combination. So really crucially, I think the main fight that is going to matter here for the side of fast-paced Wildcats is going to be that first Dragon fight. When they hit level 5 max, when they're able to take full advantage at the best time against the Kai'Sa and against the Orianna.
That's going to be the main idea, though. Top side going to have a 4-man coming up for the Wildcats. Looking for an opportunity. Caglian going to have to move away from that one. Caglian, from time to time, these last few days in competitive, he has been doing a few throws. So, hopefully not in a throwing mindset. I would heavily appreciate that, Caglian. I do like especially going for the Invader's Braum. Level 1 with his passive, making it really hard to really deal with. He can just proc easy stuns for the entirety of his team and apply some extra burst damage. So, I think the overall going for an Invader with the Braum is really using his early game power spike really efficiently. He's now in top side. Caglian going to stick around. It is going to be a lane swap, though, from Plankton and also from Katse. So they're going to go for that one. Plankton trying to proc his passive. Another basic attack will connect, but he's got the shield, so all good in the hood. But after a very passive start, you know, good respect from both sides. And now there's going to be a counter invade from Swiss into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, not surprising to see the Corki going to like try to contest, but you see also Khan, who's going to be by the side of course, the Pygus going to then contest a blue buff there as well, but it's not going to be going to go over to that Corki as a result. We talked about that Rakan going to be able to block out a Corki from engaging in to contest that one away, and they be able to trade 1-for-1. But what I do want to crucially note is this going to be this matchup against Gandalf, also against this Orianna. Rek'Na needs to be stopped early game, albeit Corki doesn't have the greatest early game himself, but by using the lane control, every time we see this Orianna going out of lane, pushing that wave up, denying farm, denying gold from this Orianna, and actually the onus then as well, and the rest of fast-paced Wildcats to not give these kills over, to not give these advantages when Orianna does roam.
Yeah, fast-paced Wildcats, they're going to be also looking for some vision control. They're looking to get themselves their very own first scuttle, so they're going to get vision towards the top side of the map, which is where they've been roaming the most, so I think is going to be helping them quite a bit. But in the bottom side, I'm really surprised because we have this lane swap coming on through from the Braum and the Xayah. But in the bottom side, it is basically a 1v1, Elpis versus the enemy Malphite, played by Can Hopeless, and you have this Rakan just been roaming all over the place, but not really bringing any influence, I would say, as of right now. He's been kind of useless in many ways of the term. I haven't seen getting him for the impacts. He's going to try and assist in the top side, though, so maybe he's going to try and convert that into something positive. But as of right now, yeah, it's just going to be a lane position where Kai'Sa is going to be solo, so she is very vulnerable if anyone decides to just bully her in a bottom lane stance so far. So they got to be very careful because that's a little bit of a scary showing from Futbolist, I would say, because Kai'Sa early game, she is pretty damn weak, I would say, even.
Scary, not so much Maxman, I think, for this side of Rakan. Still going to be about almost 2 levels behind because of the fact that he has been roaming around the map so much. So actually, despite this Xayah being a little bit weak early game, she actually has level advantage on both Rakan and even this Camille because the pressure that Olaf came around, not only getting the scuttle on the top side, but also actually managing to block out this Camille from farm, actually trading that farm with Orianna as well. So early game for Futbolist, I would have liked them to stay in the lane, like to see a little bit more respect on the side of fast-paced Wildcats for their roams themselves, because they've not been getting much out of it. Whereas you see the control and vision on that scuttle top side, you see now the dragon coming up in Futbolist. They're very so slightly behind in terms of levels, and that's going to cost them potentially going around to this first Mountain Drake fight.
It's just because Pigas is literally not even getting gold in the top side or XP. He's just already 500 gold behind compared to Plankton, which I guess he's like funneling gold in his side lanes, which, you know, if that's the main idea, that's fine. But he is a dive champion and he's just going to get melted. So that's why I'm a little bit scared. If he was playing like, you know, Lulu or just a Soraka or Nami, I'll be like, okay, fair enough, because you're not going to be in the nitty gritty of those fights and you're not really going to get heavily threatened But because he's going to be in the middle of all of that, I am a little bit skeptical that he's not going to get enough time to build that armor, that magic resist, all of that. So I'm a little bit skeptical, but hopefully things work out just fine for him. As they go the reset, really well executed by Wildcats. They are there as a full squad. Kaiser's got to join the party too. It is going to be a Mountain Drake, so if you don't get it, it's not all lost. But they do not want to trade towers or gold for it whatsoever. Wildcats, they want to get themselves this one. Wukong ready to go for the engage eventually very soon. Going to flash on forward. Secured by the Olaf with the smite. And now great Malphite engage onto the enemy backline. 3-man knockup. And it's not really much Futbolist could do. They're going to try and make it back to their tower. The good charm is going to be connecting for P-Gas. But yeah, they tried and they lost.
You see, though, unfortunately, just goes the way of fast-paced Wildcats. And that all comes down to the fact that not only were they a couple levels behind Max, but they were crucially zoned out of that Drake fight already by the Romans coming out of fast pay. And not only do they get that tower gold as well as that Mountain Drake, they also now go have that shielding, more importantly, against potential any burst that Rakan wants to put out with the dive, combined with the Oriana damage later on in the game, but also now have advantage with the shielding itself straight away in terms of the next objective here, which is going to be that Rift Scuttle. Not Rift Scuttle, big Rift Scuttle, Rift Herald here, Max Man. It's going to be spawning on the top side.
Big Rift Scuttle. It's good. It's a big one. Just pushes lane. So powerful. Reminds me of Kraken and Vainglory, man. Takes me back. But we're off to a really good start, I would say, for the side of Wildcats. They are just going to be chilling, get himself a little bit more gold. Currently a gold lead of about over 3,000. So they're looking absolutely amazing in this early on. And we mentioned it too. The fact is that you're looking at this team composition. You want them to scale in the early game. They're playing to their win condition. As Caglian, though, kind of locked down in this pit. Have to go for Hectic Ultimatum. Not really what you want to do. Instantly shut down thanks to Katse with the Blade Caller. And that is not really much you could do. What the hell was Caglian doing in a pit when Drake was not up? I have no clue. As Ragnarok is going to be popped away by Olaf to survive the encounter, I'm going to say that is overall worth it. But Gandalf in top, with his eye mobility, you know he's in no position to be threatened whatsoever. But yeah, Caglian, what's happening there, homie? What's going on?
I was a bit confused in the rotations, yeah. I think the footballers are struggling right now when they're behind. They're not sure exactly which side to focus. Yes, they do manage to get this Rift Herald vote up on the board for them, so that will help them ever so slightly bring themselves back into the game if they can use it right. Maybe save it towards the second Drake and bring that Ocean Drake into their side because of that split map pressure that they'll be able to provide. I expect this Camille to be used now to create, as we say, that cross map pressure, setting up for that next Drake in the next couple of minutes. As we all know, Camille's going to be that kind of middle man in terms of split pushes, going to be able to, as a result, put down that pressure for the likes of the bot side. Potentially even would like to see a roam a little bit towards that top lane, maybe swap out with that Xayah and not swap out with Rakan and that Kaiser, and then be able to have the Kaiser and Rakan down on the bot side, ready to fight for that Drake later on.
And we just talk about the fact that this Malphite can hopeless. He's going to have so much fun. He's 2-0. He's already got Leandries. And he's against a very squishy comp. I think we can both agree on this one, Highland. Their comp is really damn squishy. And he's just going to go for the engage, pop himself his ultimate. If he gets a 5-man, he's going to be so much fun. On the bottom side, though, he's going to get Hectic Ultimatum. Great ultimate on the tower. Going to put some severe damage. And he's still able to soak it up. But now the team is there to back it up potentially for him. But no, Katse is not going to be enough. Going to have to ult and flash his way to safety. Blade Caller will be coming out. Almost getting the frag on the Rekna. But sure, they pick up the frags. But look at that in top and mid. The towers are getting pushed. But they got the Herald. And now it's going to force a response on Wildcats to go back to their base and defend the bot side.
Yeah, unfortunate for them, they lose two. Malphite teleported, but wasn't aware of the fact that the entire team were there, Max Man, and not the way you want to see it happen for the side of fast-paced Wildcats, considering how dominant they have been, particularly now, note, because that dragon is up. You see that split pusher was exactly what they needed. They now have priority over that Drake river, but you also see them go back because of that advantage they were able to take. And I think they have that slightly the wrong time, because keep in mind this Drake is pretty squishy. And if FastPay knew that they had gone back, if they suspected that they had gone back, they could have actually rushed this Drake down and punished that return back to base.
So before the next fight actually breaks out, I want to ask a question for chat also. I've been trying a little bit of a different style of spectating where we're going to be zoomed out the entire time. Tell me if you prefer it, yes or no, and if not, I will revert back to my old style of spectating. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it, so please tell me and feel free to tell me if you enjoy it or not. Top side though, the tower is going to be slowly ticking down as the Ocean Drake is going to go once again in favor of the Wildcats. So they are all off to a really good start, a few nice buffs going their way. There's nothing too surprising to see in their composition and what their win conditions are. They're playing to it pretty well. As I'm looking out for now the builds, we're going to have ourselves already the Blade of the Ring King available for Kai'Sa, which I think is a little bit tricky now to build on her because it does delay your ability upgrades quite a bit. So it is still viable in a sense, but it's just if you go for that, you need to understand that your power spike is going to be a lot later in the game. So as long as you have that in mind, it's not going to hurt you all that much. It's just a change of mindset, really, when you consistently go for that item.
And also keep in note, come the changes of this recent update, you start to see actually in this Orianna build that you're going to go for that Seraph Embrace first item, not only to get the mana to be able to throw out your ball and keep up consistency on your damage, but also you still get a little bit of abilitation, still get a little bit of ability power, and you also get that slight shield that is converted from that extra mana. So it makes Orianna a little bit slightly more tanky come out early game and allows her to be sustained in these early game fights. It should be going the way of fast play Wildcats, you just mentioned, because of the fact of their composition and the way it's built. But you see her now go into that second item. Of course, Leandri's, the Rabadon's going to be that third item, and as soon as she gets that, that's when footballers are going to be wanting to fight, because that 40% extra ability power, you're going to see her start to pop off onto members of fast play Wildcats.
Malphite's just waiting for an opportunity to go for the Unstoppable Force. He's going to go back to base, though, get himself some extra itemization under his belt. He's going to start going for some anti-healing too and some armor. So he's already got enough AP. He's like, yeah, I'm good now. I'm just going to go for the full-on army, which makes a lot of sense. I do really like that idea. Mainly because he is up against a almost full AD comp, except for the Orianna. She's going to be going for AP, so still triple AD. And as long as they make sure that this Orianna does not get in a good spot, which as of right now, she is in a pretty good position, but nothing too dominant. I think the Malphite here going for a mix of AP and also some armor is going to be very impactful for the later stages of the game. So I got to say big up respect, because I see way too many Malphites here Highland sometimes just like, I go AP, I go full AP. No, hybrid is also a really good itemization to go into, and it makes you good on both damage and also in terms of defense.
And what I like actually coming from this build is straight up the second item here, the tier 2 item going to be that Bramble Vest. So yeah, you jump in with that, you jump in with the ulti, you then be able to use the Leandries with that overtime damage onto multiple members, but you also return the damage as well, Maxman, using that Bramble Vest. And that extra grievous wounds damage you're able to provides actually a lot of overtime damage onto the enemy team when he starts to go at you. And come later stages, when you turn that into a Thorn Mail, when you start to become a little bit more tanky as well, you're going to be able to dish out a lot more disrespect to the enemy side, and particularly when that Kai'Sa wants to spread damage over the team. If it's just going to come right back in her face, that's going to be a nasty time for her.
That is why you mentioned earlier, Malphite, maybe ban, maybe worth banning. I would have to say yes. He's a little bit too good currently in the game. Very similar to Akali, in my opinion. Those are two characters you want to try and ban away if possible. Malphite, though, in a bush. No PC, got to be careful. You don't want to stick around. Also, the fact that there's not that first mid lane turret available for Futbolist makes it a lot harder for them to dictate how and where these fights could happen. And they could just easily get bullied away by Wildcats. Wildcats, they're going to be on the move. Corki and also Brom went back to base. Cats is also going to go back. They're going to set up a reset, as the next Drake is going to be a Cloud one, is up in the next 15 seconds. So they've got to play around this one if possible. And get it, especially because of the move speed. That's going to be something extremely impactful for the Corki, and also especially for the Olaf. He's going to be really happy to get that extra move speed in those engages. But once again, they already got two Drakes, and they're going to contest it once more. The Camille's in the top side. Camille does indeed have a teleport, so if she wants to really join, they can, but the lack of vision is so hard on Futbolist, and that is an easy Cloud Drake in the way of Wildcats once more.
The lack of pressure that has started to snowball from that early game mistakes that we talked about. They even tried to contest that Baron, but crucially, they didn't need the Olaf there because they weren't contesting the Drake, and that's a 3-man ulti.
Oh my god, engage also from Gandalf onto the backside, and I don't even need a team to follow up a team. What the hell is that? I do not need it, says Gandalf. And also Canopolis. Tower's going to fall down in mid lane. That is why you got to be careful of Malphite. If you're playing against one, do not be on top of each other, or otherwise you are going to be causing your very own demise. And now, off the bat of those 3 kills, they could be looking to get themselves a Baron, which seems like that is going to be the main focus. They get 2 extremely valuable turrets in mid, and now Baron pickup, like, perfectly done from Wildcats.
Yeah, the indecisiveness has actually cost the side of Futbolist dramatically here. They no longer have that pressure, Maxman, not even on the Baron they look to take. You see how easily this Wukong is being turned away. You see they're desperate to try jump in and teleport jump in as well. Can he steal it?
Cyclone coming out from the Wukong is going to be a double kill in the way of Katse, and they do also loot themselves the Baron, so that's going to be in the way of Wildcats once more, straight back to base, because they're not greedy whatsoever. Okay, Olaf might be a little bit greedy here. He's going to go for the blue. Hopefully he doesn't get pushed and detected. But that's going to be... Oh, no, it's actually allowing his team to teleport back in, especially the Malphite. And then maybe want to try and set up a sandwich kind of position, converting onto Payas. He's going to jump his way to safety, so he should be good. But, man, the aggressiveness of Wildcats, they're not giving this game up for anything. Great jump on forward. They're going to go for the instant kill. The flash comes on through, but it's just... not enough. And Wildcats are just dominating is even an understatement here, I would say, Highland, easily.
Yeah, they just let those dragons go away. They let that early game run away from them. And this is the damage that now comes out as a result. You see the engage from the Malphite, but not done yet.
Katse trying to get for the Blade Recall. Great 4-man shockwave from the Orianna, but on that side, no PC taking in a 1v1, but it's just not going to be enough. He's going to be taken down also. And that is going to be all said and done for our first game of the series. What a quick game. With a composition like this and the draft being close between the 2 teams, I was expecting a longer series, but man, no. That was a 15-minute game. I was expecting maybe more. And at the end, only one team can come out on top, and that's going to be Wildcats taking...